we're live in Kiev as Vladimir Putin tells a huge military parade in Moscow's Red Square that Russian troops in eastern Ukraine are defending the motherland. He said the invasion of this country, what he calls a special military operation, was necessary and had been provoked by the West. But he didn't make any major announcement related to the war or suggest when or how it might end. The Victory Day parade, featuring thousands of troops, tanks and nuclear missiles, commemorates the anniversary of the defeat of Nazi Germany in 1945 and is a reminder of Russia's military might. Our correspondent Jenny Hill has sent us this report from Moscow.
Isolated, sanctioned, condemned, but Vladimir Putin seems sure of Russia's support. Relaxed, smiling as he greeted veterans of conflicts past, even as he wages war in Ukraine. Victory Day is one of the most cherished holidays in the Russian calendar. It's sombre. 27 million Soviets died in the Second World War. But it's a celebration too, a victory over Nazi Germany, and the eyes of the world were on Red Square. Vladimir Putin, unable to declare a victory of his own in Ukraine, railed against the West. He'd been forced to act against his neighbour, he said, out of self-defence.
Preparations were openly underway for another punitive operation in Donbass and an invasion of our historic lands, including Crimea. Kyiv has announced a possible acquisition of nuclear weapons. NATO began active military development of the territories adjacent to ours. This was an absolutely unacceptable threat, systematically created for us and right on our borders.
Fewer troops, less military hardware than usual on display, resources presumably tied up in Ukraine. This was, as always, a display of might intended for the outside world, a less than subtle hint at Russia's nuclear arsenal.
За победу! Ура!
But today was about rallying Russians too. Vladimir Putin has repeatedly tried to justify his war by telling them that Nazis in Ukraine threaten their country's peace, using Russia's painful past to legitimise his present. And there was a rare acknowledgement of the price paid. The Kremlin admits that 1,300 soldiers have died in Ukraine. The real number is thought to be much higher. But grieving families are told their sons and husbands have died heroes, defending the motherland. Vladimir Putin's war has not gone well. But even as Russia reflects on the cost of conflict, he seems determined to fight on. Jenny Hill, BBC News, Moscow.
The view from Moscow there. Well, Ukraine's President Zelensky has released his own video message commemorating the victory over Nazi Germany, saying his country will win its war with Russia. He accused Moscow of imitating the tactics of the Nazis by deporting hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians and by using aerial bombardments to flatten cities. Meanwhile, the UK Defence Secretary Ben Wallace says Vladimir Putin continues to make fairy tale claims to justify his invasion. Our Kyiv correspondent James Waterhouse has more details.
No rallies in Kyiv this Victory Day. In fact, nothing major is happening for the first time since Ukraine declared independence.
As the ironclad hosts of the Soviet and Germany meet in mortal combat,
the country was part of the Soviet Union in the Second World War. Millions died under German occupation, but they ultimately shared that victory. Today, there isn't much to celebrate, and Russia's accused of hijacking its meaning.
And very soon there will be 2 victory days in Ukraine, and someone will not even have one left. We won then, we will win now too. And Kreshchadik will see the parade of victory, the victory of Ukraine. Congratulations on the Victory Day over Nazism. Glory to Ukraine.
The meaning of Victory Day has changed. Look at this memorial. It celebrates hero cities like Kharkiv. It's marking everything it has gone through in this invasion and continues to go through. Mykolaiv in the south, the Russians are still trying to take it. but it's holding out. And it's interesting to see what was here before. This memorial also marked big battles in the Second World War, like in Crimea. An old Soviet tank once used to liberate the city, somewhere for Helena to remember her grandfather. Today's conflict has left her confused.
We are brotherly nations with Russia. Why is it shooting and bombing us? It is very unclear.
Victory Day for me is the holiday of our parents and our ancestors, Sergei tells me, because they fought for their land. For me, Victory Day will be the day when Ukraine wins, and Ukraine will win. Everything will be Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine. A word missing from Putin's speech was Mariupol, a mostly destroyed city where the last pocket of Ukrainian resistance continues to be shelled. The UK has accused Russia of ripping up both its past and its future.
Through their invasion of Ukraine, Putin, his inner circle and his generals are now mirroring fascism and tyranny of 77 years ago, repeating the errors of the last century's totalitarian regimes.
Ukraine couldn't be further away from the liberation Russia is trying to portray. What also feels distant is peace. James Waterhouse, BBC News in Kyiv.